The head of the Association of American Railroads about to appear before the House Transportation Committee at a hearing on rail regulation. Number of accidents, about 12 in recent times. So that will be the subject of some of the questioning there as we bring in John Goglia, who's a former member of the National Transportation Safety Board. John, thank you for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Tough accident that we watched unfold overnight, and they're still dealing with this morning in Philadelphia. Your thoughts on what we saw here?
Well, you know, my heart goes out to the families that have lost family members in this event, and it's too early to draw any conclusions, but I can tell you that the NTSB will leave no stone unturned in trying to figure out what happened here. And they're going to quickly look at the schedule of the operator. They probably already have done that. They're going to check to see if he had a cell phone, to see if he was on the cell phone at the time of the accident. The signal people from the NTSB are probably already at work looking at the records for the signals. And the track people will be out there soon, if not already, looking at the condition of the rails.
Yeah, so all of those potential factors that you talk about, we've seen in some recent accidents that speed was an issue. We remember the Spain train crash in 2013 where the cell phone was indeed an issue, and you mentioned that as something that they will be checking into as part of this investigation. The rails also potentially a problem. When you look at the way that this came off of the tracks and sort of spread out into that open area to the right-hand side of the tracks, does speed look like it may have been a factor here, or you just can't say, John?
Well, the speed limit was 50 miles an hour into that turn. So the way the cars are scattered doesn't surprise me because of that speed. Mm-hmm. If it was faster, we probably would have seen more cars involved more catastrophically than they are. So that's a guess on my part, but it really is too early to tell if speed was a factor. Yeah. Since it is a fairly high-speed curve, 50 miles an hour is not exactly slow. So we got some work to do.
Yeah. We're just looking at the scene on the right-hand side where we see the cars laying over on their sides, and the two front cars, John, appear to have taken the brunt of the damage. They are very mangled, and thankfully we spoke to one passenger who was on the train this morning, and he had just walked through that car, and according to his eyewitness account, he said there weren't many people in that first-class car, maybe 10. We know we have 6 casualties that we've reported at this point. But obviously, you know, those first 2 cars seem to have borne the brunt of the force here.
Well, it depends where the derailment was. And, you know, initially, I would say that the derailment was right there at the front of the train. So it could have been the locomotive that caused a problem with the tracks, or it could have been the first car that jumped, the wheels jumped the track. Now, the geometry for track and wheel contact is rather complicated. And the track condition is checked virtually every day by the railroads. So, and the condition of the wheels are checked periodically.
How do they do that? Do they do that before they leave? Is that a visual inspection? Is it something that's done? How do they do that?
Yes, it's a visual inspection on the train, and it's not done on every trip, but it's a visual inspection on the rolling portion of the rail cars and the locomotives as well. And there's actually people that walk the tracks, railroad employees who walk the tracks in a regular schedule to look at the condition of the tracks and the ties and the ground that the tracks rest upon. So it's a very orderly process. And over the years that we've had this high-speed train from Boston to Washington, those inspections have actually increased to make sure that we don't have these kinds of problems on that track. So and those records are kept. It's not just somebody walking the track and not doing anything. They have actual detailed records that will be kept of those inspections so that those will be available to the NTSB to take a look.
They're going to need all the information they can get in this situation. John Goglia, thank you very much, sir. Good to have you with us today.
Thank you.